the live telecast of that meeting. Have all the teachers now received their laptops under the one teacher, one laptop policy? Well, the Vice President has a verdict on this, the flag bearer of the MPP. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. And we continue our focus on the illegal mining tonight. There's more on this packet for the issues of illegal mining, Galamsey, because the Fourth Estate has put together an expose. They give the details of some parliamentary candidates and also members associated with this administration heavily involved in illegal mining, reportedly so. We'll get into all of that, plus the reactions here on Ghana Tonight. As always, you're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's start off for Ghana Briefs.
Scores of supporters of both the NPP and NDC in Salaga, capital of the Salaga South constituency of the Savannah region, have clashed in a free-for-all fight following the arrival of the District Road Improvement Program equipment in the constituency. A confrontation ensued between the two parties when their supporters went to usher in the equipment into Salaga from Damongo. Two persons are said to be seriously injured and on admission at the Salaga Government Hospital, whilst others are also receiving treatment for minor injuries. Three persons reportedly died on the spot, while 12 others are in critical condition following a tragic accident at Gomoa Mpuramu in the Gomoa West District on Apam Winneba Highway. A Toyota Hiace bus with 15 passengers from Accra to Cape Coast busted one of 8 back tires and veered off the road, causing the accident.
12:15, we had a call that there is an accident at Gomoa Imperium Junction, that is on the Apam Winneba Highway. So my men went. When they went, it was a Toyota Hiace with registration number 805-24. In all, 15 passengers were on board. Out of the 15, 3 reported, meaning 3 died at the spot, including 1 lady and 2 gentlemen.
The Electoral Commission has rejected the NDC's request for a live telecast of a planned meeting to discuss challenges with the provisional voters register list. The opposition NDC has had cause to raise complaint over the current voters' roll after the Electoral Commission by itself admitted to wrong voter transfers by 8 officials and the bloating of the provisional register. According to the NDC, the discrepancies unearthed warrant a live telecast to aid the process of a free, transparent election. This has been rejected by the EC. Some civil society organizations have criticized Parliament for reneging on holding government accountable to protect Ghana's water bodies. This follows a recent revelation by the Speaker of Parliament that some MPs are complicit in the Galamsey fight.
If I have to implement the request you are making, I'm not sure you will survive. All of you will survive. So please, let's move away from that one, because it's very difficult to determine what a political statement is when you are talking about Galamsey and what a political statement is not when you are talking about Galamsey. And as to videos about Galamsey, the later we talk about it, the better.
Some streets and neighborhoods in Sunyani, the capital of the Bono region, are facing safety concerns due to poor lighting. The new Doma Odumase Pastoral Center Road has come in the news as an area of concern, with residents expressing worry about security.
Sometimes when they close from church, especially the ladies, snatching of mobiles and stuff like that is not the best. Apart from the driving, those using the roads alone after 9:30, the darkness is too much.
A colleague of mine had his tricycle snatched by robbers on this stretch last Sunday, so authorities should fix the lights for us.
The Black Stars began their campaign in the AFCON 2025 qualifiers with a 1-0 defeat against Angola at the Babayara Sports Stadium, their first loss at the venue since February 2000. Head coach Otoadu spoke to the media about the defeat.
At least, I think we deserved a point at least. Was a little bit unlucky. And yeah, we can just hope that I don't like to do this, but on this pitch, to be honest, the guys did really well on the second half to control the game like they did, and we have to work on the pitch to get better because it's very difficult, and then also mistakes can happen.
Well, as more news on 3news.com, make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, the National Democratic Congress announced the Amenfi Central Parliamentary Primaries and indeed orders a rerun, while the Walawale New Patriotic Party Parliamentary Primary rerun has also been postponed. We have the latest on these two incidents, or how things are playing out in both the MPP and the NDC in these two constituencies. Now, it is not only the New Patriotic Party that has a primary to rerun. The NDC, that's the National Democratic Congress, too, also has one parliamentary primary to rerun. And this is because the party has announced the Amenfi Central Parliamentary Primary results that was conducted on the 13th of May, 2023. There's a statement that the party put out, issued and signed by the General Secretary of the party, Fifi Avikwete, earlier today, indicating that the election has been the subject of litigation at the High Court in Second-D. We're going to be getting into the details of that and why the party took this fundamental decision to annul it, even though the High Court is yet to take a decision on this matter. But Mr. Kwete also noted that the Functional Executive Committee of the party at its Tuesday, 3rd September 2024 meeting decided to annul the election and rerun the same. But before we get into a bit more of Amenfi Central, let's get into the Walawale constituency. Yesterday, I spent some time to paint to you exactly how the picture looks like in the Walawale constituency, reason why the NPP cannot go to bed and think that they're going to win that constituency, even though it is the home constituency of the flag bearer of the party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The NPP and the NDC have both won that constituency in terms of the parliamentary. They've all had members of parliament represent the Walawale constituency at least since 1992 over the period. Even the PNC in the year 2000 also won the Walawale constituency. So it's not a comfortable seat for the NPP. Now, we understand that even though the party had scheduled to rerun its primaries in that Walawale constituency on Sunday, this coming Sunday, September 8, there's been a development. Christopher Mwako is our Northern and Northeast Savannah Regional Correspondent. He's joining us on Zoom. Chris, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Alfred, and thank you for having me.
Now, we're getting information that this September 8 Walawale primary for the MPP was set to be held on that date. There's a development. It has been postponed. Can you confirm this for us, and why is that?
Yes, so Alfred, exactly. So I can confirm that the rerun of the parliamentary primary that was scheduled to take place on Sunday, September 8, has been rescheduled for Monday, September 9, because on that Sunday there is a funeral in the area, the Mampugu Kingdom, and so a lot of people will be in attendance in Walawale, where the constituency elections will be taking place. It's also a place that the funeral will be taking place, and so the regional and constituency executives thought it wise to reschedule it to the next day, which is the Monday, because even the flag bearer of the MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is expected to attend that funeral. And so they cannot be having that big funeral with a lot of MPP people in attendance, and the rerun also taking place. And so they have decided to shift it to the next day, which is the Monday.
And already we understand that the decision to suspend these 3 persons, as you gave us the information yesterday, has created some disquiet within the constituency because these persons belong to Dr. Kabiru Mahamad's camp, correct?
Yes, correct, Alfred, exactly so, because the 3 persons are said to be sympathizers and supporters of Dr. Kabiru, and the statement they made were somehow against the tenets of the party, and also sought to deepen the cracks in the party. And so the regional executives thought it wise to, as it were, suspend them for tensions to cool, and also investigate some of the allegations they have raised in that particular video recording that is in circulation. And so investigations, I'm told, is currently ongoing, and the party is also working internally to ensure that the party remains united and build the cracks, even as they edge towards the Monday, September 9 rerun of the Walwale constituency primary. As it stands now, the aspirants are going about their normal duties, moving from one polling station to the other, trying to convince delegates to vote for them. And the executives are equally working on uniting the party ahead of the elections. You know, that is the home constituency of the MPP flag bearer, and so losing that constituency will mean a lot for the MPP. And so they are working hard to ensure that despite the cracks, they will remain united and win the party at the elections.
And we also do understand the NDC has maintained its 2020 candidate, who got over 30,000 of the votes, as against Hadia Zura, who polled just a little over 32,000, some 2,000 difference. So the NDC candidate is strong on the ground and is already doing his work, from what we do know.
Yes, very, very strong, Alfred, and that is why the MPP is bent on having this primaries by Monday, and also ensuring that they begin work seriously. Because if you go to their constituency, I must say that the NDC is entering every nook and cranny of the constituency, trying to convince the electorate to understand the need for the parliamentary candidate to be voted, as well as the presidential candidate. And remember that the NDC candidate, before joining NDC, was a PNC man. Then when he joined the NDC, he was made a regional minister even in 2016, even though it was the latter part of 2016, but he was made a regional minister, northern regional minister, by the Eswal Mahama administration. And he's been on the ground. He's a grassroots person, as described by the people in the Walwale constituency. And so he's giving the MPP a run for their money. And looking at the vote difference between the 2 parliamentary candidates in the 2020 elections, the figures that Hadia Zuera used to beat the NDC's Mr. Abdallah was just a little over 2,000. And so the NDC is optimistic that they will close this gap, and not only closing it, also winning the seat, especially capitalizing on the cracks in the NPP as it stands now. Now, the conversation in the Walwale constituency is that, you know, Dr. Kabiru is from the Janga zone, and the Janga zone is the second most populous zone in the Walwale constituency. So the dynamics are that if Dr. Kabiru loses in these primaries, and the people of the Janga zone decide not to vote the MPP's candidate who will win the primaries, then it means that automatically the MPP will lose their seat. On the other hand, if Hajia should lose this primaries, then it means that Hajia's supporters from the Walwali enclave, Wulugu, and other areas, if they become angry, it means that the vote against Dr. Kabir, and that can go ahead to affect the party and give the NDC a chance to win the parliamentary elections.
I see, and already we've seen some videos of they giving a strong warning, a strong worded message to the flag bearer of the party that he says Haji Azuera is his sister. Dr. Kabir Mama works in his office as an economic advisor. He cannot be silent about this. It's a very, very tough position Dr. Bamea finds himself in, but I really do thank you so much for this update. And Christopher Marco is there for us here on your Election Command Center. This election, the rerun of the Walawale parliamentary primary for the MPP, which was scheduled for Sunday, has been postponed to Monday. Christopher Marco is going to be there here on your Election Command Center. Well, so it's not just with the NDC, in fact, the MPP having their troubles in the Walawale constituency, and which they are hoping to solve and close their ranks by Monday. This is how the Walawale constituency really looks like. Unlike the Walawale constituency, where the NPP cannot go to sleep, right, and expect to win that constituency, the Amenfi Central constituency, the NDC is also having their own troubles there, because they have ordered a rerun. Let's look at the Walawale constituency right now and how the situation looks like. This is it. Both MPP and NDC have held this constituency in previous years, even though in the 2020 elections, Haji Azuera won it for the NPP, the Walawale constituency. So the NPP certainly has some work to do in there to close their ranks before election 2024. Now, the NDC earlier today issued a press statement, the decision to annul the Amenfi Central constituency. And in fact, essentially, they make the point that this constituency has always been a subject of litigation in court, in the Secondary High Court. And as a result, they took that decision at the Functional Executive Committee meeting earlier today to annul the Amenfi Central parliamentary primary results. And I will show you the results in a bit. But this Amenfi Central constituency is one that you see the NDC has held that constituency throughout. In fact, it's a comfortable seat for the NDC. They've held it since this constituency was created over the period. But on the 13th of May, 2023, these were the candidates who came tops at the NDC's primaries in that constituency. These are the timelines we do know. Joanna Jan Kujo, on the 13th of May last year, when the party went to the primaries, polled 756 of the valid vote cast, as against the incumbent member of parliament. So Joanna beat the incumbent MP, Peter Yao Kwachiaka, who polled just 575 of the valid vote cast. Daniel Apia came in third with 73. Mark Ahin came through with 39, and then Elijah Jones Apia came through with just 2 votes. This is what happened on the 13th of May. So the incumbent member of parliament, Peter Yao Kwachiaka, on the ticket of the NDC in the Amenfi Central constituency, lost to one Joanna Jan Kujo. All we know about her is that she's the wife of one of the musicians belonging to this duo, Keche. So that's Keche's wife who won that primary. Fast forward to June 2023, 5 persons went to court and sought to challenge the outcome of that election on the 13th of May. And eventually, on the 31st of May, Justice J.K. Jan Konto granted an interlocutory injunction restraining the winner of the primaries, Joanna Kujo, from holding herself out as the duly elected NDC parliamentary candidate for their Memphis Central constituency until the courts took a decision otherwise. So 5th of June 2024, the Secondary High Court granted that injunction that Joanna Kojo-Jan cannot hold herself as a Memphis Central parliamentary candidate. Now, what we do know is that the party has taken a decision, and they make reference to the reliefs C, D, and E of the plaintiff's action in court. They seek from the court the annulment of the parliamentary primary election and an order for a rerun of the election. So even though this case is still running, in fact, this case is still running at the Secondary High Court, the NDC Functional Executive Committee has gone ahead to take a decision to annul this Memphis Central parliamentary primary that saw the incumbent member of parliament losing to one Joanna Kojo. Let's go on to the telephone now. Mustafa Agbande is a Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. His boss, Fifi Kwete, signed that statement we got earlier, communicating the decision to annul the Memphis Central parliamentary primary results. Mustafa, thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Great. Now, I see that this case is still running at the High Court. The High Court in Secondary is yet to pronounce a judgment as against what we saw in the MPP case in Wale Wale, where there was a pronouncement, a judgment as to annul the results and then ordered a rerun. You have gone ahead to annul the parliamentary primary results in Memphis Central, although the court hasn't taken a decision as yet. Why is that?
Thank you very much. I think basically the party is well positioned to take strategic decisions as we advance towards the general election. We have, in our meeting, declared Memphis Central as a conflicting constituency where there are disputes, disagreements about winning the election and all of that, legitimacy of candidature and all of that. So the court in Secondary has, adjourned the matter for judgment in October. But by law, we are supposed to file all our candidates just next week on the 9th or 10th of September. And so if we wait for the court, by the time the court determines the matter, we wouldn't have a candidate to file. And so we run our party regardless the courts. And so we have decided to say, okay, because the members who are conflicting are all the members of the NDC, we have announced the results to say, okay, let us go back and rerun the election. Let every aspirant reapply so that we start afresh. So that immediately we finish the primaries, the person who emerges as a winner can go and file officially to the Electoral Commission as the candidate. I think that this decision brings to end a protracted litigation. It also will salvage our constituency by bringing all parties to the table for conversation so that whoever wins, the person who have lost or the persons who have lost will be willing to come together for us to retain the seat. Well, but we are going into an election where parliamentary seat is very important for the NDC.
Right.
We are tipped to win majority, an outstanding majority in parliament. And so every seat is important to the NDC. That is why the General Secretary and the Functional Executive Committee took this strategic decision.
Okay, so essentially you decided to go ahead of the court because the Electoral Commission also has a timeline for the parties to file their various parliamentary candidates. So you cannot wait for the court, essentially. That's what's happening.
We are not going ahead of the court. We run our party exclusively from the courts. Okay. But we are in the position as a party to take decisions strategically that puts the party in a proper place to run an election. That is what exactly we have done.
In fact, the reason why these five persons who took Joanna Jan Kojo to court, challenging this victory during the primaries last year was because they alleged that she forged her NDC party card and then some other documents that they allege were a forgery, and she used that to win the election. Has the party sought to find out whether that fundamental error that they allege has actually been corrected for all these same parties to contest the election again on Sunday?
Well, Alfred, what you need to know is that the previous election had gone through the party's elections regulation 2024 for parliamentary election. In that regulation was a vetting committee, an appeals committee, and a special committee that will adjudicate on constituencies where the parliamentary aspirants would have initially belonged to one constituency and transferring and going to contest in another constituency. All of these structures have qualified Joanna Jankujo as a member in good standing of the NDC. No court of competent jurisdiction have adjudged Joanna Jankujo as an unfit or a person who is not a member in good standing in the NDC.
Right.
So as it stands, there is no finding at any structure, at any level, against her candidature or her membership with the NDC. And so that is not an issue at all. That is not also an issue. That is not part of the contention that we have, because there's no any judgment, there's no conclusion, there's no finding against her to have forged a document, to have forged her membership and anything. There's none like that. The previous special committee was chaired by the General Secretary and the National Chairman. That was a structure put ahead of the Appeals Committee, all of which are contained in the regulation of the NDC to be used in running the parliamentary election, which elected all of our parliamentary candidates. And so that is not an issue at all. The issue is that we have conflicting interests, people have various, and in fact, what will interest you to know is that the parties in court are seeking to annul the elections in the first place.
True.
That is what they are seeking to do. And so if you are seeking to annul the election, and the court has put a judgment in October, by which time the party will not be able to file a candidate, then we have given you what you are looking for. Go and rerun the election. Whoever wins, the party will go with the person. Whoever loses, the party will bring the person to the table.
But you understand where those who also raise questions about this decision would look at, to the extent that this is due process that is running. Even though the people are seeking the annulment of the elections as part of their reliefs, it doesn't necessarily mean that the court will grant them that. But then again, I see that even after you have taken this decision, you've given a very short period for the filing of nominations and so on. You took a decision to annul today. Tomorrow you open nominations. Saturday you do vetting. And then you are conducting a rerun of the elections on Sunday, which is just 72 hours. Is that not too short for these persons who even want to contest?
Crystallizes the party's operation. The party must keep running. Number two, whatever is happening in court is independent of how the party is run. Number three, it is not short because I can tell you, Wale constituency, the same thing happened. They are now the elections. They open nomination. They did vetting, and they are having their election, I think, today or tomorrow.
They are having the elections on Monday.
Exactly, but the difference is that we are doing it just a day in between. Whoever, you couldn't have done anything different from this. The process is still running. Whether it is long or short is not, it does not negate the procedure. The procedure is intact. The processes are intact. Let everybody follow. If you can win an election at a place, you can still win your election, except that people must be satisfied. And that is what exactly the party is taking to do. Our decision to annul that result is premised on the fact that the party wants to reunite in Amempri Central. The party would have to get to a point where the outcome of the rerun election will unite and resonate with the rank and file, and as well as all parties who have some cause of concern to be addressed. That would have been addressed, and we are going to move forward as a family.
Right, and I see that even based on the trend and analysis, this is a comfortable seat for you. You've won it throughout the period, right from...
There's no comfortable seat for any of the political parties in this election.
I see. I make reference to the trend to the extent that you've always won it. In fact, from the time this constituency was created, you've won this constituency over the period, is it not?
The NDC is not taking chances and complacency to anything. We want to win every single seat, and I can assure you, Alfred, that the NDC is first of all going to win overwhelming majority in Parliament, first of all, on December 7th by 6-7 p.m.
Okay.
And then also win the presidential. So we are not going to say that because the trend favors us in one constituency, let us play with the issues there so that we can lose. No,
but Mr. Mande,
constituency situation serious.
Thank you. But stay with me. So don't go as yet. And because the next issue, I want to pick your thoughts on this. Coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, the calls intensifying for a forensic audit of the provisional voters register as more and more errors are identified across the country. And that's coming up next year on Ghana Tonight. And in fact, already we have had two constituencies. The NDC in the Hohoi constituency is raising concerns about the credibility of the provisional voters register for the Hohoi constituency, as exhibited recently by the Electoral Commission. The party, at a stakeholder briefing earlier today, cited several discrepancies on the register, particularly in communities considered to be strongholds for the MPP in that constituency. They're demanding a forensic audit of the register ahead of the December polls. I want to take a look at this.
The counting of the statistical service estimates that considers every citizen and residents of all ages be less than those who are 18 years plus. It doesn't make sense. The voters register of Ritoji today, as it stands, is 2,569. And the population census estimate stands at 887. How? I believe that some level of urgency will be attached to this. Those who matter should quickly come on board. Let's subject, if not for all, let's subject the Ritoji register to a forensic audit to give all of us a credible document we can trust going into 2024 elections. I believe nobody will complain when NDC stands its ground that the right thing will be done on the day of election.
This is the Hohoi constituency, but also the Efutu constituency parliamentary candidate for the NDC, James Kofi Annan, also raised concerns about the eligibility and credibility of the voters register in that constituency. Says there's some issues in there. The reason why he's also supporting that call for a forensic audit for that register in the Efutu constituency. Mr. Mande, tomorrow the Electoral Commission has honored that request for a meeting that you asked for because of the discrepancies in the exhibited voters register. But then again, that request that you wanted, that this meeting should be live telecast, the Electoral Commission says no, these issues are not new, and so there's really no need to have a live telecast of it. How does this strike you?
Well, so basically, first of all, I think tomorrow is an opportunity for the Electoral Commission to try and redeem itself in the face and the weight of the evidence available to us. What we are holding today, which the Electoral Commission labels as provisional voters register, is a fraudulent, illegally manipulated, consciously and intentionally mismanaged and misarranged figures on the document. It doesn't fit for the purposes of the voters register. Now, the Electoral Commission admits that some of the issues we have raised to have occurred are really true. For example, they have even suspended the district director of Pusiga. Our argument is that it's impossible for a district director to transfer figures which are being kept at the database of the headquarters. It is not possible. Somebody and some actors within the Electoral Commission are conspiring to fraudulently, criminally, and illegally manipulate the voters' register. Now, our request for a live telecast was to the effect that the bedrock of the Electoral Commission's work is transparency. You must be transparent to the people of Ghana, and that you don't demand the head of a commissioner when proceedings with the Electoral Commission is telecasted. It's not new. What is it that the Electoral Commission has to hide that Ghanaians should not know? In any case, these are the same people whose names have been deleted. Some have been transferred to unknown destinations. Some names have been found in the register. We don't know where they came from. You have seen complaints all over the place. So is it not better that we bring redress to these issues by making sure that Ghanaians are able to follow proceedings that
the Electoral Commission says these matters, the issues you raise are not new, and so it doesn't warrant a live telecast of the meeting tomorrow between you and them. That's your position.
Well, Alfred, I think that when the Electoral Commission says these things, it's at best knowledge and upside down. Because the mistakes that are identified cannot be classified as errors. They are intentional, criminal, and fraudulent disregard of responsibilities of the Electoral Commission. For example, if you are the one who is the keeper of data and the district director is able to transfer illegally, it means that you have appointed criminals within the setup of the Electoral Commission. And the Electoral Commission's headquarters should be in the position to take full responsibilities of the conduct of each officer, the conduct of each director, and the conduct of even each temporal employee and what they do. Wale constituency was nullified on the basis of irregularities and double voting in the MPP primaries supervised by the Electoral Commission. Yendi constituency, we saw crisis there where officers of the Electoral Commission were arrested because they were caught from printing and destroying ballot papers. Are these not traces of criminal behavior, criminal tendencies already existing in the Electoral Commission? Now, when the Electoral Commission sought to classify the things we have identified as errors that could be corrected in exhibition, it is untrue. Because but for the NDC, the Electoral Commission would not come and tell Ghanaians that they have been illegal transfer.
Well, most of our, you know what, here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, because you have a meeting with the Commission, even though they didn't grant that request for a live telecast, we will certainly be lurking around the area and get some information for our listeners and our viewers as well. So thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Musa Wegbande there. Appreciate your time. But let's stay a bit further on this matter. Dr. John Osai-Kwapong is a Democracy and Development Fellow at the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, joining us on Zoom. Dr. Kwapong, appreciate your time here on Ghana Tonight. All of these things has happened, and for you, from where you are seated, the Electoral Commission, yes, has actually admitted that there were errors and taking some action, which they say is meant to instill some confidence and trust in the process. But from where you sit, trust is a very critical ingredient in this electoral process, is it not? And from what we are seeing now, how does that concern you?
I mean, you don't, I mean, most of what they are, you don't tend to see them, as I said. I mean, if we compare them to NPP and NDC, we've been seeing them in action at least for the last 2 years. Their primaries, their preparation, all of that, touring the country, you know, up and
Indeed. And that's the more reason why we're going to actually get into a lot more into this and see how the meeting plays out. And with that little connection problem with Dr. Osai-Kwapong, we're trying to rectify that here on Ghana Tonight and get some more from him, Dr. John Osai-Kwapong, here on Ghana Tonight. But coming up next, we go straight into the matters of illegal mining and matters arising. Today, the Fourth Estate put out an expose. Politically exposed persons, including New Patriotic Party parliamentary candidates, exposed as allegedly involved in illegal mining in the Fourth Estate latest investigative piece. That's a conversation that we're going to be having tonight. Stay with us.
Since the last day of last season, we are ready to do it all again. Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Watch all the Premier League, La Liga and Serie A games on DSTV Compact for only 300 cedis a month.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Drink responsibly, not for sale to persons under 18 years of age. Not recommended for pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
The luckiest.
Star 712 #.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a packing from your wallah. Hey, wait.
You go put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck.
Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. Now, the Fourth Estate in its latest investigation has revealed key politically exposed persons and their cronies are alleged to have been scrambling to mine in Ghana's forest reserves. Bear in mind, it's forest reserves. Key persons, the people you see on the screen there, according to the Fourth Estate, are the faces behind a number of companies that are mining or have been given licenses to mine in forest reserves in this country. I know some of you can identify a number of, I'm going to reveal the identities to you as per the reports by the Fourth Estate. Let's take a look at this. First off, we have the let's say that Sampine is the MCE for the Kumasi Metropolis, and Ohene Amankwajan, a lawyer and a radio presenter. They are the joint shareholders and beneficial owners of Sam and Jan Limited, which was registered in 2017. These are the two, according to the Fourth Estate. Sampine and the MCE for the Kumasi Metropolis. You know Sampine has been executive of the MPP in the Ashanti region. Let's flip to the next. The DCE for Wasa East, Emmanuel Boache, and one Angelina Ntama, listed as part of the 4 beneficial owners of Isama Mining Limited, registered in July this year, just 2 months ago, July 2024. But this person, according to the Fourth Estate report, Francis Owusu Achau, is the NPP 2024 parliamentary candidate. And according to the Fourth Estate report, this gentleman, there are 15 companies that are connected to this Francis Owusu Achau. Hapik Mining Limited, North Rock Limited, High Street Limited, Elite Minerals Ghana Limited, Sam and Jan Limited, Akonta Mining. That rings a bell. That is a company that belongs to the Ashanti Regional Chair of the MPP. But also you have Akonsomje Company Limited, Clean Jobs Resources. We wonder if they actually do a clean job based on this report, DML and FJ Minerals and so on. And Daroboso is the Deputy Director of the Arocha Ghana. They also complemented the work of the Fourth Estate. He's joining us. Daro, now I'll start off with where we ended, with this particular parliamentary candidate in the Ashanti region that has 15 of these companies mining in the forest reserves connected to him. I mean, and you say that this is not just the only person, correct? And we have some politically connected and exposed persons behind companies mining in forest reserves?
I think, thank you very much for having me. I mean, this particular report really is shocking. I mean, it beats everybody's imagination how the state and people connected to government, people who are in parliament, have so much access to the Minerals Commission, to the Minerals Application System, that they can make applications, and then they are being given some, and as you can see, the concessions are all going for forest reserves. Forest reserves are for a long time to set them aside to protect them against any mining activities, and even with a long-term goal to completely exclude mining from these forest reserves. So this is just, as you have seen from the report, this is just the tip of the iceberg, because there's more of this that is to come. And as you have seen, a lot of the mining concessions, I mean, this guy that you just mentioned, and also aspiring MP, is actually connected in the sense that if you go to the MinCom website, his name is actually the main contact person for all of these. How that is possible, it beats one's imagination. And then there's also these other ones that have some DCs and some people all connected. So it's not somebody's a DC, and the person is definitely connected. And this is why this very investigation and the result coming from it is very, very troubling. The Ministry of Lands and also the Ministry of Environment said they tied the airline 2462 just to streamline the mining and also create opportunities for where we see clearly that the airline 2462 was not passed to provide any beneficial service to the public, but rather to serve the people who are particularly connected in terms of giving them access to new areas for them to mine without any difficulty.
I see, but to the extent that we see even the mayor of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly also captured in there. Sampine, according to this report, is co-owner of one of the companies. Is it something limited, right? Based on this report, and if this report is anything to go by, this is the person who is charged with the responsibility to fight illegal mining at the local level, is it not?
I mean, if you all the DCs, MCs, people who are appointed as municipal chief executives and all of that, or a person who are trying to go to parliament to pursue the interests of the public, if you find your name on this and you are actually with an intention, leading with an intention to have access to a forest reserve, when all of us have been talking about the dire situation of climate change, the dire situation of water scarcity, and also the pollution that is going on, for you to, behind the scenes, be making applications to mine. And also, I think this is also the same scenario that we were able to identify a concession that was planned for Kaku National Park. If we had not really brought us out quickly, we would have seen that they would have gone ahead. I'm definitely sure that they would have processed that particular application to the point where the company would have had access. So I think it is quite worrying to see persons paid by the taxpayers' money also engaging in activity that is destroying the very fiber of our society, in the sense that these are all public goods, providing us water and also securing our well-being. If people paid by the taxpayers' money are then turning around, having access to these areas, and with the intention to destroy them for minerals and for gold, then it's really one that needs to be interrogated seriously. And all these people really question as to why they would do it.
Even before this expose, the Akonta mining case, which I know you together with some CSOs, you petitioned the Speaker of Parliament, the CID, is there any latest update on this investigation to the Akonta mining case? That company owned by Bernard Nchibwe, the chair of the MPP in the Ashanti region?
We've not had any feedback, and I think civil society also took a civil case to the court and all of that. All that is pending. So I think it tells you that the government is not willing to really pick up on Act 995, which they themselves facilitated in this enactment to ensure that persons who are facilitating or contributing to illegal mining are brought to book. And at the moment, I think you also know the president came out to say that he finds the company not to be engaged in any illegal activity. But that also remains to be seen if we really take the steps to ensure that we do full investigation and ascertain whether there was some culpability or not. At the moment, we are convinced that by the fact that he was working illegally, he should have been brought to book as the law requires.
And Darrell, I appreciate your time. And this is what was put together by the Fourth Estate. And this gentleman who, Darrell, you make reference to is connected to these 15 companies mining illegally in forest reserves. This Francis Owusu-Chiang, the parliamentary candidate for the Joabin constituency on the ticket of the MPP. In there, but this is one that we'll keep an eye on as well. This is a Fourth Estate report. As a report out earlier today, we understand there's some fresh detail as well from this report coming out tomorrow. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. We'll sink our teeth into it. Daryl Bosu is the Deputy Director of Arocha Ghana Environmental NGO there. There's more of this on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. Thank you for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight as we think about the threat of illegal mining, destroying our forest cover. Say, when the last tree dies, the last man dies, destroying our water bodies. Say, water is life. So in every aspect of our lives, illegal mining is threatening us. Think about this. Do have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Simply